Hey folks, it's Frithgar here, how you doing? Welcome back to Farming Simulator 19 here in Boulder Canyon. The seed drill has only got that far to go at the highest point in the field, and then it's the sort of the triangle, little odd-shaped bits at the end. So, in theory, considering how much it did in the last episode, we should be able to finish this up, finish all the planting in this episode, which means that next week we will be combining. We will have gotten far enough along that we will actually be able to start doing our combining, which is absolutely fan-schmastic. So there's a couple of jobs that I want to do down here. I've got a loader tractor down here ready and waiting. I'm going to put the loader on this tractor, and I'm not going to use the what do you call on here, the bucket that is on there. I want to change that over to the bale spike, which we're going to need. So I put you on there like that, and then unhitch that bucket, and then I go over this way and I get that bale spike, which is the one nestled in against the tractor there. And then we go over to the round bales. Right, have you out there like that, and we'll head over to those round bales, and then we are ready to load those up into the straw blower that we've got over that side. Doesn't take much to load these up. We can load these up fairly quickly and efficiently. We're fairly good at doing that. I got 3 of them down there. So I'll see if I'll do some of those first. But anyway, that's now ready to go. And then I want to jump back over here. You are doing just fine. I don't know why he's got such a big overlap. I'm wondering if that's to do with the AI vehicle extension, maybe. I am thinking I'm going to turn that off for a second. Like that, and I'm going to go with just normal hired help now, and we'll see how that gets on for the rest of it. Like, it's got enough room for turning on the ends, so it doesn't need the AI extension for doing that bit, but that is rather a big overlap right there. That is a little bit too much of an overlap for my liking, so I'm curious if... Because the standard hired help, it does its turns on the ends of the fields a bit differently to what the AI vehicle extension does. Although it does stop a bit earlier than what the AI vehicle does. So we get left with like little tiny spots that aren't properly drilled out. That's better. It's still not great, but at least it's a little bit better than the other one. So we'll just do that for the bottom part of the field there, and we'll see how that works out. Well, anyway. It's not you that I'm after, it's this one that I'm after. I want to now take this one, and I want to drive up over, and I want to go and get that straw blower. So we'll drive up round there and grab that one. I do also want to put some more food in for the cows, but we'll worry about that in a minute. What I'm going to do is I'm going to get the straw blower, and then we'll put straw into the pigs first, and then we'll bring it back over to the cows over here, and we'll blow whatever else we can into the cows. And hopefully fill them all the way up. It's what are we on? We'll have a look at that in a minute. When it's unloading, that's when we will stop and we'll have a look, so that we can keep this moving and we can keep sort of working on this job. Now we know that we can fairly easily put 5 or 6 bales. 5 bales certainly go easily into this bale shredder with round bales. We could even put 6 bales into here. Now, you do have the option with this one of you press X and it unfolds the back like that. So you can do that a bit just to, like, help it. Just help nudge it along a bit. So we may do that at some point during our loading experience here, and just see if that helps us with getting the bales to go in a little bit better, getting them to stay in a little bit better, that sort of thing. So whether or not it's actually going to work, I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Let's just nudge that one in around like that, and then 2 bales in together, and drop those in. And then I'll go and put that single bale at the back. And then we're looking at possibly... Actually, I don't know what we're looking at after that. We want to get that one, though. I'll put that one in. Whether I was wondering whether I could pick up 3 bales at once. It's quite difficult picking up 3 bales. You get the 2 of them, but the one on the top does have a tendency to sort of move around a bit and not quite go where you want, so it's probably better if we don't worry about trying to do anything like that, and we instead stick with doing 2 bales at a time like this. So I'll pick that one up there, pick these 2 up here, and we'll drive that in the front. Now, you can go even more than 6 bales if you get it right. If you can stack them correctly, you can go for quite a few bales in this. So there, I've got that one into there. I can put another one in behind. So we'll put 1 in behind. There, I'll take that one right there. And then I want to see if I can load 2 more bales on top of these, if this one will sit correctly. It does depend a bit on this one, because the one underneath is not quite sat neat and tidied inside the machine. So it's... Right, I'm not going to get 2 bales to sit on that, so we got 1 bale sat there on his own, and that will leave us with 5 bales afterwards. I might be able to put that one up on top, in between those last few, and that's only going to leave us with 5 bales left. Fortunately, we've got a big field up there that is full of wheat that we're planting at the no, that's canola. It's the smaller field. But we'll get straw off of that, and we will bale all that up into round bales. We'll whiz around that field, and we know now that it will go at a reasonable speed. We know why it was going slowly last time. It was because I hadn't repaired it properly. So we will hopefully be able to do... There we go. Excellent. Right, that's all loaded up there. 7 bales in that bad boy right there. Let's drop that one down, and then we'll come up over here to this one, and hopefully those 7 bales won't move. Is that bit on the back? I'm tempted. Yeah, that's not going to make any difference. If that 1 bale had sat in properly, I could have gotten 1 more bale loaded up onto this trailer without too much trouble. Honestly, though, 1 more is not going to have made much difference to anything. That's not going to have made any... Because we've still got the 5 bales down over there, so it won't have changed anything. It's still 2 loads of straw that we've got here. Let's just dump that lot in there. Right, and then I wanted to have a look in here, and I wanted to see... Right, so the pigs were now on 201... And with our 27,000 in there, we're going to put 2 or 3 bales into that one. This has got 121,000 litres. We're probably going to put this entire load in for the cows. And it's not going to have any problem at all in loading the entire lot up completely. Just see if that one is going to automatically unload another bale or not. It does sometimes. It hasn't this time. Right, leave you go in right there, and I want to go over here, and I just want to see what happens with this one as he comes up to the end of the field. He's already done a couple passes backwards and forwards across the field here already. That's done a neat and tidy, because it's just about square on the ends. It is doing neat, tidy finishes here, so it's not really leaving anything. There was 1 tiny spot up there. That's the only bit that's been left. Just 1 little tiny spot. And round you go. Right, that does seem to be better than what the AI extension was doing for some reason. But then I had the AI extension doing straight lines like what a normal worker would do, which is slightly different to the AI extension working straight up and down. It possibly would have done a better job with working straight up and down, although I don't know about that. Over a large field, it can sort of start to twist out quite a long way and mess it up, but... 2 or 3 more passes, and we will have completed the longest runs on the field, and we'll just be working one of the short ends. Just depends on which end it gets to when it's sort of working through its stuff. So let me go back over to here. 1007. That one's actually gone and done extra. We're on 47. Good gravy. Right, it's now automatically going through and unloading all of them. I wonder if that's because of the way that I went up to that tractor and had a look at that one while we were in the middle of doing our work here. I'm going to do that again because I want to see if he's leaving any bits on this end. Doesn't seem to be. No, he's doing a pretty good job on there as well. Back down to you here. You are almost full. 54,000 litres on there. It's less than a bale to go in there. And then that one is completely done. Cleanliness is looking good. Water's looking good. Corn is nearly full. We're going to need to start running a bit of food around in for the pigs. Go and put in what we can for them. Those have... I'm going to run these bales that we've got here. There we go. So that last little bit there. Fill it right up for the pigs. Put every single blade of straw in there that we possibly can. There. Right. Done. Start the engine. Maybe that's it. Maybe it's because the engine wasn't running. That's why it did it. Moving around doesn't seem to change the way the bales are doing anything. They're still holding where they are. So we get over to this bit here and then start it up again. So this one will definitely take the 3 bales that we've got in here. And I suspect that it's going to also take... So we've got 60,000 litres of straw in there. 123, yeah. I reckon it will take the other 5 bales that we've got lying down on the in the field over there as well. So we'll put all of those in. Oh, that's the top one is gone. There's these 2 under here now. Let me just leave that go. And you're doing your bit over here. I'll leave that one go. Yeah, these 5 bales over here, those will go in for the cows as well. That'll be that whole lot used up. And there won't be any more there for the cows. And then we're waiting on the straw from down there. We've got enough in the mixed feeder that we don't need to worry about that one. Don't need to go putting any more straw in there. The cows will have all of the mixed feed that they could possibly want. So we don't need to concern ourselves with that, which is absolutely fantastic. We've got in the mixed feeder, it is actually completely full here. I've got a trailer load that we've gone and unloaded, plus we've got 500,000 litres in there. Then I've got 100,000 litres of silage, 53,000 litres of straw in there, and 56,000 litres of hay in that one. So I've got more than enough to cover everything that we're going to need for the cows to completely finish out this series. The only concern is getting the necessary grain for the pigs. That one has actually stopped now, so we've got to just start up that very final bale right there. Bale is stuck right up on the top. It's not going to move. So I'll start unloading that one. Take that one out. It has gone to a green bar on. We may not actually get all of the 5 bales in. Well, we can load them into this wagon. That's not going to be a problem. And a total mixed ration there. I can go and put another couple trailer loads into there and fill that one up. Looks like the seed drill is just going to do this little short end over here. So I'm going to go to the seed drill here, and I'm going to just let it go over this piece here. And then I'm going to manually do it just sort of over this triangle piece just to finish off. Seed drill is almost thinking of not overlapping enough. You're going to go to there, and... Oh, he's wanting to go on a little bit further. I'm going to do that, though. It looked like he was going to go forward and go on over to that piece. So I'm going to just finish out here, because this is only going to take like a couple of passes just to do this bit. Lower that in and drill out this little triangle. And then I can go and take it up over to the top bit, and we can start working on that piece up there as well. So then I want one piece right there like that. Something-ish like, sort of. There we go, perfect. Then spin round again, and one more pass, and that bit's done. So we've got all of this bit of planting finished. If I can get round that corner sharp enough. There we go. Straighten you out. Okay. There's that bit. We are going to have all planting finished, which means that I need to have another one of my tractors on the fertilizer spreader, and I need to be doing the fertilizer spreading already. I should have already started that. So I'll run this one over here. I can actually unhitch the... Yes, I know what I can do. Right, we'll take you over to here. We'll go to... Not to you. I want to go to the other one. I go to this one here. I'll run this trailer back round over near the front loader. If we don't get the rest of the straw done this week, that's fine. We can get those 5 bales loaded up. But what I'd like to do is I want to get the fertilizer spreader hooked on, and I can start going around the edge of the big field and getting some of that done, and then we can start working our way back round, just sort of backwards and forwards, doing the land work on there as well. We'll just have the standard hired help doing all of that work. Shouldn't be any problems for us, I don't think. That's going to be the second coat on that big field, which is absolutely fantastic. That's what I want. I want the second coat done on there, and we've not got anything else to worry about there other than the herbicide. Once we get some weeds, I'm not going to go and manually herbicide that one up there. It's just going to take way too long. But I am going to manually do the outside edge on this one all the way around, and it looks like we've got that single pass there, and that field is completely done. So I'm going to go in this gateway here and start spreading just like that. Right, once around the edge is what I want to do next. So bring you up that way. It's always the corners, because it takes a bit for the wheels to straighten out again. And yes, it does slow down a bit going up this hill, but I'm fine with that. And you... I think there's a shadow over the other end, actually. So I think that it has now finished doing that field. I think it is finished up there. So this one here can go around that corner like that. It's going around the corners that way, as always, because of the angle of the fertilizer, the way that it comes out always makes it a little bit weird. There is going to be some little gaps in it where we've already done an overlap and spread fertilizer twice, but there's not very much like that. Most of it is absolutely fine. I will go in against the stone on our first pass, and I will go and just tidy that bit up. Right here, I want to go in a straight line straight across here. Helper C has completed their task. Seeding is complete. We have done all of the drilling. I will go over here a minute, and then I will stop spreading, and I can drive this tractor over to the stone. So I'm going to get to there and stop spreading. And then I'm going to take you over to the stone so that I'm ready to start on here. Like that. And I'm going to jump down to this one. Start you up. Just double check that we have indeed finished. We have actually finished. There is one little spot right there that hasn't been done. There's 2 spots. There's 2 little spots right here. So there's one bit there. And then there's another little bit up there. And we can take them both out. Right, that is now done, completed, finished. So I can fold you up, and more importantly, timescale now needs to move onto 5 times speed minimum. We're not allowed to have it on 1 times speed unless we are planting or mowing, one or the other. Right, you can wait there for now. I'm not going to worry about you for a minute. And we'll go up to this one, and we can go on round the outside edge of this stone here. So I need to keep right in tight like this on this one. You got to keep way in tight on there. Otherwise, you don't end up sort of doing the very inside edge of the field. You miss it all. Just because of the way things are with this. Right, that one will come over to there, and that's job done. Then we can go back over here, and we can finish doing our pass around the outside edge of the field. I'm not going to do a pass right the way around the outside edge of the field. It's going to be most of the way around the outside edge of the field. I'm going to go over to this end, and I'm going to do 1 pass down this end. Then I'm going to come back up here to the top, and I'm going to start working from up here. I won't bother doing a pass along the bottom edge of the field this time. I'm just going to leave that. And the fertilizer, we'll deal with it. We can sort of tidy that bit up once we get to the very end of it all down there. So long as I can start the hired help working up here, that will be the bulk of everything done anyway. Bring you on round here, like that. There we go, that's fairly neat and tidy, I think. And 1 pass down here to give us plenty of room for turning around down here. And that's everything that we need to worry about. That will be all of it taken care of. The whole thing, the whole shebang. So, yeah, the bit along the bottom run, no, we won't do that now. That is something that we will come back to later. And here you can see where I've overlapped a little bit when we were doing like bits in front of the stone and that back up there, but that's, again, it's not going to concern us now. As we've already gone past that bit, it shouldn't cause us any issues when we go back through to do it with the hired help working the land up through. And that bit's done in there. Turn that one off, and now we drive all the way back up to the top, and I can just set you going. So let's have a look in here a minute. In there. And go to there. Right, so it's only a little strip along here now. That has already been doubled up. So the rest of that is that little patch right there. And then there's some slightly bigger patch down... Oh, there was a bigger patch down the other end. But that's been taken care of. We don't need to worry about it. It's just here. Right. Let's go in there, I think. Is that going to be about right? That's probably going to be... yeah, that's plenty. I could have been downhill a little bit more than that, but that's fine. Right, you carry on there. You're going to be doing that job, and that's one less that we've got to worry about. So when we get a growth stage, we've got fertilizer to do in that field, which we can do as soon as we get a growth stage. The only other job that we've got to do on these two fields is in that one. After we get some weeds grow through, we can then go on and we can put herbicide on that field. But we can't put herbicide on that field until we get a growth stage. Until we get weeds growing through. Because I have no intention of manually doing that field with herbicide. It is going to take way too long. Right. Next up, I'm going to go over to here and I'm going to load these 5 bales in so that we've got all of our straw has been used up. And we've got as much as possible gone in for the cows. I'd like to put as much in there as we possibly can, just because. No particular reason, just because that's what I'd like to do. So I'll load this up very, very carefully like that. And you've got to sort of... It's the problem with these bales. Right, look. See, I'm not doing anything, and that bale is sliding off of the fork there. It shouldn't do that. It absolutely should not do that. It is a bit of... It's one thing with the physics in this game that frustrates me, is the way that the bales climb themselves off of the bale spike. No particular reason at all. They just slide off uphill, defying all known laws of physics, because they've decided that they don't particularly like that bale spike on that particular day. But... generally speaking, the bales are an awful lot better than they have been in the last few iterations of the game. So, you know, there's pros and cons. We've had improvements. There are still some improvements to make, but overall, the improvements we have seen thus far are acceptable. Now, I'm going to do that so that I don't drive into anything, drive into any spikes or anything like that, and bring you back round and hook you in onto there. And then I will run you quickly up over to the cows, and we can put that in there. So, we've not had 5 times speed ticking along for very long, so we've got a little tiny strip of manure in there from the pigs. And when we go over this way, we've got an even bigger strip in there from the cows. See, one thing that I don't like about Seasons, I do really like about the standard game, is the way slurry works. Slurry and straw. In Seasons, if you put straw in for the cows or the pigs, you get only manure coming out. If you don't put any straw in, you only get... I should have gone the other way, right. If you don't put straw in, you only get slurry coming out, and you don't get anything else coming out. Now, I don't like that. I don't like the way that works, because I know plenty of farms that use straw and straw bedding for their cows, and they have a regular supply of slurry coming out of their cows that is used across their entire farm. And there are various different systems in place. Some people will use some animals without straw and then some with straw, so you sort of get a mixture of both. But something that is quite common that I've seen being used personally is you put straw down through in the cubicles for the cattle, like on a dairy farm, and the main passageways, they're scraped up with slurry, and that's, you know, you do get some straw in with it, But it goes into large tanks, and those tanks are turned on every day, and they've got filters and sieves and that. And basically, it goes through and it removes the solids. So the straw that is in there, that gets filtered out and put into a separate area. And then once that's been filtered out and put into the separate piece, the slurry is kept in, that's pumped into a slurry lagoon. And it is moved around on a fairly, like, you pump it round on a regular basis so it doesn't form a big heavy crust over the top. It's turned on every day. And any solidified bits in there that happen to come along, they're filtered out and they get put into the manure section. So you get both. You do get both. And then every few days, some of them are quite robust and you can put a lot of straw into the systems, and others not so much. So you try to limit the amount of straw that goes through them, and instead you clean up the straw in a slightly different way. Some straw can go through, but it does depend on the system. But you do have these filtering systems so that you can put slurry on your land. You can spread as much slurry as you like on your land, and you've got a good supply of it using slurry injectors and things like that, which works really well. Like all that system with spreading slurry and however you're going to do it on your farm works perfectly. And then you've also got manure that you go and spread, and you spread that in a slightly different way than you would the slurry. Now, not everybody does it like that. Some people just sort of mix everything all in together in a large slurry pit and take it all out together in a machine that is designed for handling both solids and liquids. So every situation works differently, but I've seen plenty of farms that use straw bedding for all of their animals and still have a slurry lagoon that is producing nice liquid slurry that is for a slurry injector. So the idea with seasons, that if you put straw in, you get no slurry at all and only get manure coming out, that's one that I don't like. I'm not a fan of that idea at all. I really don't like that one. I would much rather see basically the same kind of system that we have here with the cows. Now, maybe if you don't put straw in for them, the amount of manure that comes out is reduced by, say, 75%, because that would make more sense. You're still going to get some solids coming out if you've got a system that is separating the solids, but you wouldn't get anywhere near as much. So maybe reduce the amount of solids you get coming out if you're not putting any straw in at all, but to not have any slurry coming out when you're milking cows and to not have any liquid slurry at all coming out when you're using straw as bedding and you're milking the cows. I don't know any farm that will work. I know beef farms that will work like that, but even those during the winter, they still have liquid slurry coming out, and they each have their own ways of trying to deal with the stuff, like trying to mix it up with straw if at all possible when they're cleaning up the yard outside and things like that. So yeah, I don't particularly like that way of doing it with seasons. I don't think it's a particularly realistic approach to straw and manure and slurry. So yeah, seasons definitely does have its good points, and there are some fantastic things with seasons. But that little aspect of it is one that has irritated me from the very beginning. I've never particularly liked that, and that's one of my main reasons for preferring to play without seasons, is because I like if we're mostly focusing on arable and when we're not really doing anything to do with animals, then yeah, fine. Seasons is quite cool, the way that you do actually have the seasons and stuff like that. But not having any slurry at all when I'm putting straw bedding in for my cows, that I don't like. I don't like that at all, because even the farms that don't put straw bedding in for their cows, they usually have bedding of some kind going in for their animals, and seasons doesn't allow for that either. So you've either got no bedding, which to me is wrong, or you've got bedding and no slurry coming out, which again, to me, just doesn't feel right. It feels it does feel inaccurate. I mean, yeah, definitely going to be farms that do operate within those parameters, and it would be realistic for some of those farms, but for an overall picture, I feel that Seasons has made a mistake on that one, and I don't like it. I would much rather be able to put straw in for the animals for bedding, and at the same time get both products coming out so that you can use slurry in some situations and manure in other situations. So, I mean, slurry after you've planted. Like, after I've gone and done the drilling, it would be appropriate to use slurry on the field. That would be an appropriate time to use slurry on the field. It wouldn't necessarily be so good for using manure on the field after you've gone and planted, because the plants may struggle to come through that, and that could cause some issues. Yeah, okay, you know, there's pros and cons. It's kind of borderline after you've gone and planted, but ideally, if you're spreading a whole load of solids, you want to be doing that before you want to cultivate that stuff in, and then you know, do the slurry spreading afterwards. And you got both those options available under the base game, but with Seasons you don't have those options available, and I don't like that. It's limiting what I can do. And yeah, I know I could just not put straw in for the cows, but like I said, I really, really don't like that idea. I don't like not putting bedding in for the cows. That, to me, just seems really wrong. I really hate the idea of the animals not having any bedding at all. Yeah, I know that there are systems that do that. I don't like those systems at all. I've never liked those. It's not something I'm sort of particularly comfortable with the idea of. It just doesn't seem right. And so, therefore, I wouldn't choose to do it myself. And I don't like doing it in gameplay either. I know it's just a game. It shouldn't really matter that much. But it does make a difference for me. I do like to try to do things reasonably realistically. Now, if we go and have a look in here, and we have run out of time for today's episode, that last bale going in there is just about filled up all of the straw. I didn't put any total mixed ration in, so we've got to put a little bit more of that in. But we are almost full, so I reckon 200 cows, we're going to be looking at 180,000, possibly. I'm wondering if 200 cows is going to end up being 200,000 litres of straw. Another 20,000 litres in total, because we've still got a little bit of a gap on that green bar. Gone to 180,000 right there. 3 more cows. You know, that may end up being the case. We will wait and see on that one. We will wait and see. Right. How did you get down? Helper A has completed their task. Helper A does not look like he's completed anything. Oh, that is fantastic. That is absolutely brilliant. Right, on that note, we gotta go. So if you've enjoyed this episode, then please head down below and give us a like. And if you really enjoyed it, then please tell your friends all about me and get them to co-watch as well. That would be awesome. And until next time, thank you very much for watching. Yes, I'm going to leave this until next week. Thank you very much for watching. This is Frithgar. Goodbye, and see you later.